the teleological problem at the heart of software design. So it's been a few weeks since I've made one of these voice recordings, and the past couple of days have been pretty pleasant. I had my annual shopping trip to Dove Books in Bishopdale, Christchurch, which I do once a year on the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice, just to try to make winter a bit more pleasant. Got an assortment of things, no massive treasures like last year though, long story. And today a friend of mine has hosted an event in which volunteers in my local community fix goods that other people bring in. Funny little way to be in more contact with your neighbours and get something utilitarian done while you're at it. My mother actually brought in a antique piece of sewing equipment that my great-great-grandfather on the maternal side of the family made for my great-grandmother. Anyway, getting down to brass tacks about software design. This is a thought that I shared in Brian Lunduke's private group to discuss computing, where we were all grouching about the smartphone era of software design, how we like complicated user interfaces or even completely non-graphical software where you just have to do programming to interact with the computer. And I raised an issue of it is inevitable that a great deal of software will have dumbed down user interfaces, because unfortunately the drive behind a great deal of the software industry has been to dumb down society. This is something which us programmers need to look in the eye, is that maybe there is something deeply wrong with our profession. So basically, the assumption that has been behind the urge to create a great deal of software is that we should reduce the number of specialist careers in our industrial/post-industrial society. Yeah, sorry. I'm sitting in the park and someone who lives adjacent to it is bumping things about. Anyway, back before computer word processors, typesetter was a career. It was a person who figures out how to properly fit the words onto the page of a book or, say, a newspaper. And now that's something that the computer does for you automatically. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't make careers obsolete at all, but there is this fallacy that pretty much all of us computer enthusiasts fall into, that if you just have the software, you will become proficient, you will be able to work in the career to a professional level. However, to be a real professional isn't quite the right word. To be a true expert, you need to make yourself more sensitive to the nuances of the subject matter. No amount of software will fix the problem that you don't know what a good photograph looks like. I've seen that with a neighbour of mine. He thought that he could just stand in the corner of a room with his iPhone and press the shoot button and everything would be good, but the lighting conditions of the environment were awful. And he didn't have a clue about how to position the camera such that objects within the photograph will guide the viewer's eye to a particular position. These are all matters of expertise. So what I'm getting at is us more old-fashioned computer enthusiasts get cranky about the newfangled smartphone apps with the point and drill interface, but it's the logic of the system playing out. If you try to make it that nobody has to be a specialist, you will get rid of true expertise. And then you'll have a society where everyone's trying to do every job. And I'm not saying that we will actually get there ultimately, just that we're closer than perhaps we should be at the moment. You'll get a society where everyone's trying to do every job and doing pretty badly at all of them, and not even necessarily knowing just how badly you are doing at it. So, as I said in the locals group post, where I first voiced this issue, and it's not original to me, perhaps computers should have remained tools for people like meteorologists to actually need the computations performed for scientific purposes, or perhaps a wiser version of the digital technology industry would have focused more on embedded computing, where you're making one device that does exactly one job, such as the digital camera. I've actually been looking into buying one of those. And for that matter, I actually carry a flip phone because, frankly, I don't like having my apps device on the same battery as my emergency contact device. Yeah, so if you're someone who comes across this voice recording, have a think about that. I'm not saying that we should get rid of computers, but I think we should be a lot more considerate of what sort of software we create and make use of. And in general, I think we need to have a really difficult discussion on how the computer programs us back. You know, people are talking about screen time. That is a good start, but that issue of expertise is a whole other thing that needs to be addressed as well. Anyway, I've got some other software-related voice recordings to make, and if I get a decent camera in the next few months, I'll start actually making proper video recordings as well, and you'll get to see my face. Anyway, that's enough for today. Brian McCoskery, over and out.